One of the things people often get wrong about frugal living is that they believe it has to be complicated. In this video, I'm going to give you 9 tips for making your frugal living journey simple. And stick around to the end for a great quote that you don't want to miss. Let's go. Welcome, I'm Amy, and here at the Frugal Diaries, I give you tips and tools for frugal living, including these 9 tips for making your frugal life simple. Number 1, budget. You know that I love to talk about budgeting. The reason that I do this, quite simply, is because it makes my frugal life simple. I use and love You Need a Budget. If you have been with me for more than 5 minutes, you've heard me talk about You Need a Budget. I love it because it helps me to do 3 important things. It helps me to track what I've already spent in a way that is true and honest. It also helps me to plan what I want to spend in the future so that I'm not just guessing. And it helps me to make long-term plans, plans that go out beyond what I can envision right now, but that will take care of future Amy. I always keep a link in my description boxes for 34 days free. I actually don't care what you use to budget. It can be crayon on a napkin as long as it works for you. And it helps you to do those 3 things. Track your spending, plan what you're going to spend next, and then make long-term plans for the future. That's a budget that's going to work for you, and it's going to make your life simple. It takes so many questions out of your head about just how is your life going to go? What are your values? Not just around money, but around how you live your life and how you spend your time. And anytime you take background noise out of your head about money, your life gets more simple and it gets more frugal. For number 2, we're back in my favorite place in all of the land, my kitchen. I spend a lot of time in here. And one of the things that you folks have heard me talk about before, but it's been a while, is meal planning. If you can plan your meals, then you will have a simpler life. And let me talk to you about a couple of ways that you can do that. First of all, if you live in a household with many people, lots of dietary needs to cater to, different age groups, and you are the one in charge, then a meal plan is going to look very detailed. You are probably the person who wants to sit down once a week or maybe even once a month and plot out exactly what is coming for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, every single day of the week, and you do your shopping accordingly. I don't do that anymore because my household has gotten quite a bit smaller, and I have discovered that instead of meal planning for actual meals over an actual period of time, what works best for my much smaller household is planning out ingredients which I can prepare separately, leave in the refrigerator, and then over the course of a few days or a week, I can combine those ingredients in different ways as inspiration strikes on the spur of the moment. So I have planned possible meals based on ingredients that I prepped. I will also often go in and about once or twice a week prepare something that everybody can eat for a few days. And this leads us to our next tip, which is cook with love. I want to show you something that I just recently prepared. I have here half of a loaf of sourdough bread that I made just yesterday. I love this stuff so much. I was actually one of those people who started making sourdough starter at the beginning of the pandemic, and I have just kept on with it. I love baking with sourdough so much. And I often have excess left, so after I've made my sourdough bread, I'll make pancakes or waffles or even these crackers, which I absolutely love. These crackers are the most delicious crackers I have ever eaten in my entire life. I'll link it below. It's not my own recipe, but oh, it is so good. And cooking with love means 2 things. It means that I am cooking things that I love to cook, and also means that I'm really thinking carefully about the people that I am cooking for. And this leads us to our next tip, which is cook with planned overs in mind. And for this, I want to take you to my refrigerator. Let's see what I've got in here. Recently, I have gotten into making big pots of chicken soup, which last for a while, and everybody in the family and friends who come over love it. And I made another pot last night. This is planned overs at its finest. Because when you make something one time, but you can eat it for several meals and everybody loves it, and maybe it actually improves in flavor over the period of a few days, you're going to love it so much. And planned overs are different from leftovers because when you have leftovers, you're like, oh, I've got leftovers. When you have planned overs, you're thinking right from the start of the cooking process, what can I do with this next, or how many days can I eat it? Planned overs, a good plan. If you're getting value out of this video, would you give it a like and consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified first of new videos? If you'd like to contribute to the growth of the channel, click the link below for Buy Me a Coffee, where you can make a one-time contribution or you can become a monthly member. Let's grow together. Now let's get back to these tips. Number 5 comes to us from everybody's favorite Frugal Diaries doggo, Goldie, who says that for a simple frugal life, what we need to do is nurture our important relationships. Goldie wants you to know that whatever your age, and whether you're a dog or a human, or even a cat, the people who matter most are the people who matter most. And if you take care of the folks who matter most to you, then your life will be richer, it will be simpler, and it will be more frugal. And the reason for this, quite simply, is that when we're focused on crucial relationships, on building up the people around us, on living our lives with love for those we love, then we're living a life that is simple and that is quite focused on the things that really matter. Let's listen to Goldie on this one, folks. She really knows what she's talking about. Let's nurture our important relationships. Number 6, avoid negative media. Here's my phone. It's in the palm of my hand. And I ask myself sometimes, would I let the person described in this negative media into my house? Would I let anybody who was telling me this story live and in person come into my house and tell me this story over dinner? Would I let this into my house physically? And if not, do I really need to let it into my house through my phone or through my television or through my laptop? If the answer is no, you can simplify your life and you can automatically make it more frugal by cutting out that source of negative media. And you may be asking yourself, well, okay, fine, that makes my life more simple, but how does it make it more frugal? Think about the old style of newscasts on television. And what they would do is tell some horrible bit of news in the most sensationalized way possible, and then the advertisements would come on. And the advertisements would be for things like hamburgers and ice cream and antacids and more clothes. When we get that sort of anxiety, we feel like we can relieve it by shopping. And you will be more frugal, you will be more simple if you keep the negative media out of your home, so that you also keep the corresponding anxious urge to buy things out of your life. Number 7 is one of my favorites. Spend time in nature. Any time that you're spending in nature, you are not spending time shopping because you're spending time enjoying. I've recently had the opportunity to visit a place that looked very different from where I live. Where I live, as you can see, everything is tropical. Everything is lush and green all of the time. But we miss some of the change of seasons, and I got to spend time walking in nature, and I found it so refreshing and so rewarding. And you know what else I wasn't doing? I wasn't shopping. And then when I came back into the house and closed the door to welcome myself back into my home, I had the peace of mind that really only comes when you've gotten out into nature. It simplifies your life so much because it takes away the noise, sometimes literally, of all of the busyness of our lives, and it puts us in touch with actual rhythms of life. And when we're in touch with those actual rhythms of life, our minds are more clear, our lives are more simple, and we live more frugally because we understand what is truly, truly important. So get outside and enjoy nature regularly. Number 8, take your time. Frugal living is something that is a lifelong journey, and simple living is also a lifelong journey. When you embark on a lifelong journey, you take it step by step by step. Along the way, you know what happens? Change, the unexpected, things we couldn't predict, things we love, things we really, really hate, things that make us sad, things that make us joyful. All kinds of things come into our lives as we go about the process of living frugally and living simply. Take your time. I've recently undergone a large number of changes in my life, and I have discovered that I have to really pull back from some of the goals that I thought I was really on track for and just focus on the moment. And one of the lessons I've learned in focusing on the moment right now is that it's probably always a really good idea. Sure, we want to think about what's coming next, and we want to plan for the future, and we want to be aware of our surroundings, and we want to be aware of our frugal journeys. But take your time and understand the present moment and live it for what it is right now. And right now, while we're sitting here chatting, things are probably okay. Your mind is probably at rest. You're probably smiling a little bit as you think about the good things in life. Maybe you're feeling a little sad if you're thinking about the heavy things in life, but we're here, and even across the camera lens, we're together and we're not alone, even if we feel sometimes as if we're very much alone. Reach out and tell me down below in the comments, what is it that you are doing to take your time in life so that you don't feel quite so rushed to make everything perfect all at once or even ever? Take your time. Number 9, thank you. This is me saying thank you to you, and you may wish to say thank you to other people around you in these days. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for helping me on my frugal journey. I began my frugal journey with you folks here on YouTube in January of 2019. Within the first few months, I had started saving $200 to $300 a month over what I had been saving before, just because I had people to talk to about my frugal living journey. Since that time, everything has grown, and this has become a community of almost 10,000 people here together talking about frugal living every single week. I can't thank you enough, and I hope that you have things that you're thankful for today. I found a wonderful quote recently. Nobody knows who said this, but here it is. Every life is a story. Thank you for being part of my story. Thank you so much. Wherever you are on your frugal living journey, take the next step, whatever that next step is for you, and know that you are not alone, and I am so proud of you. Live frugally, change your life, and together we will change the world. I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.